Zac in Richmond. Is that the Zac from Richmond?
I don't know, is it?
It depends on how you look at it. Good hearing.
Stop being so immodest. Stop being so immodest, Zac. You are indeed
Sorry, let's
the
fill in.
MP for Richmond.
Yeah, Conservative MP, Zac Goldsmith. Zac, good day. Go ahead.
Enjoying listening to you both. Thank you very much. Look, Nick, the Lib Dems as a party are considered to be, and consider themselves to be, reformers, but for various reasons there have been no really meaningful reforms this Parliament, and I would just point out that there is a good opportunity.
Sorry, what kind of reforms, Zac, are you talking about?
There's a good opportunity here. All three parties, as you know, promised in their manifestos to bring in a recall system, a system that would allow people to get rid of underperforming MPs or MPs they no longer have any confidence in between elections. It's the one reform that I can see that was promised by the parties that would genuinely empower voters. It would also, I think, strengthen the position of MPs themselves, because under a system of recall, we'd all have a sort of implied mandate. So I'd like to hear from you an absolute guarantee that this is a promise that will be honoured this Parliament, that we'll see a genuine recall system introduced as pledged by all the parties before the last election.
Yeah, well, Zac, you and I have talked about this before, and I think there's no difference between you and I in the view that in order to make sure that MPs are kept on their toes, and most importantly where they do things wrong, that constituents don't have to wait until the next general election, but can basically short-circuit things. Just for explanation for those listeners who don't know what recall means, it basically means if your MP's committed some serious wrongdoing, and they've been shown to commit that serious wrongdoing, you, in a sense, can take matters in your own hand, gather signatures on a local petition and trigger a by-election, so you don't have to wait until the next general election and see that person, that tarnished person, continue to serve you in the meantime. That's what the recall thing is all about. You and I agree on that. As you know, there's quite a lot of debate about exactly what the kind of triggers are and how much you first have to prove serious wrongdoing in Parliament. I think you take a view that there shouldn't be very many kind of steps before people can trigger a by-election in a local constituency. I think a lot of other people think you can't turn this into a kangaroo court, otherwise everybody's going to be trying to recall everybody else, so you have to have some kind of due process in all of this. But yes, Zac, look, firstly, I am very frustrated that quite a lot of reforms, like reform of the House of Lords, just introducing a smidgen of democracy in the House of Lords was blocked, but you need to talk to your Conservative colleagues about why that happened. And secondly, yes, I can certainly assure you that I want to see recall provisions, notwithstanding our debate about the details, on the statute book during this Parliament.
Quick comeback from you, Zac. Fairly brief, if you would, Mr. Goldsmith.
I know you're working on this, but the government proposals, instead of handing power down to voters, which is what recall is meant to be about, in many, many countries around the world, half the states in America, lots of European countries, all over the place, pure recall happens. There are no examples that anyone has given me where it's been abused by vexatious campaigners. Under the government proposal, you could have an MP literally not turning up in Parliament during the entire session. You could have an MP not holding a single surgery, and neither of those things would qualify them for recall. So the thing that voters would regard as serious wrongdoing would not be regarded as wrong by the committee that you'd be setting up to take a view. I think it really has to be all or nothing. It's got to be pure recall. Otherwise people won't be empowered and they'll feel very let down.
Well, I fear we might start losing listeners if we get into the undergrowth of some of this. I think the point you're making, which I totally accept, is let's have that debate on the basis of a proposal from the government, which you and then others who take your view can criticise and amend and change on the floor of the House of Commons, and I'm certainly keen that we should do that.